We're going to start off with our first topic, and that is the big one, because you guys might have heard there's a Nintendo Direct rumor going around that we're going to be getting one either next week or the week after. I'm kind of leaning towards probably the week after, but you know that rumor's out there, and it's backed originally by Pedro Henrique Ludalipa, otherwise known as PH Brazil. You guys know him. He's been a fairly reliable insider for a bit now. And he is one of the top gaming reporters out of Brazil. He's worked at all the big Brazilian video game websites. And then that ended up getting backed by Nintenduo, who said they had their own independent sources that had heard the exact same thing. Now, you might go, that sounds a little early in the month. And why is this happening around Summer Game Fest time? That doesn't make any sense. Nintendo doesn't do anything with Summer Game Fest. Oh! They don't, do they? Well, that all changed today as well. Who knew? Nintendo might do something with Summer Game Fest? Yes, they might. Because this got dropped today by good old Jeff Keighley.
I can't believe it. Jeffrey got him.
Finally
Jeffrey got him. I can't believe it.
And he got him. You see the Switch 2 logo there, and you might go, well, the Switch 2 logo doesn't mean anything. It could just be third-party games. Hello, do you see the Xbox logo? Do you see the PlayStation logo, the Steam logo? For platforms, it's always the platform logo. Right. And usually when it's on here, it means that they are going to have a trailer or something shown in the actual presentation. And Xbox usually uses it to tease, like, hey, their Xbox showcase, see more at the Xbox showcase, but here's a first look. That's what usually they do. Ubisoft used to do that too. Ubisoft does not have an event announced right now. But I don't even know if are they on the list this year? I'm kind of glancing.
They're usually the first time Nintendo has been to Summer Game Fest
right here. So if they're not on this list, maybe.
Yeah, they could be on the next round. This is round one.
Right.
But yeah, so Dimitri, to answer your question, this is, yes, the very first time they've been an official partner of Summer Game Fest.
And I also heard they were going to Gamescom, so correct me if I'm wrong, but was the last time they were at Gamescom like in 2017?
2023.
Oh, it's 2023.
Yeah, they were. I would say it was recent.
That's when they were rumored to show off Breath of the Wild for the Switch too.
So yeah, the 4K Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Nintendo's a little bit notorious for not really going to these sort of events. They weren't at PAX East.
They go to PAX West every single year, but
I mean, it's in Seattle. It's like right next door to Redmond, so it makes sense. But
yeah. So the big thing here is obviously that Nintendo's never been an official partner of Summer Game Fest, and yet Switch logos have appeared in the past. So this isn't about third party. Now there is a note here that there are sometimes people that are on these lists that they're just putting ads.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, because they do that even though everyone's like, oh, Game Awards, they're going to drop something. It's going to happen. Doug Bowser's here. They just put a fucking ad. They just put a fucking 30-second reel every day.
Nintendo Switch 2 has games.
Besides character reveals, they did some Bayonetta 3 stuff. They've done some Fire Emblem stuff there. But anyways, none of that's all in the past, because we're not talking about the Game Awards. This is Summer Game Fest. Nintendo's literally.
Well, it's a Jeff Keighley event, so that's why I thought.
Yeah, they've never officially been part of it in the past. So what's cool about this is I did a little digging, and this isn't an exact science, but because this says round one. So I went through the last three Summer Game Fest and went with what round one was, round two, round three. And from near as I could tell, every single partner announced in round one showed a game trailer at the event.
Oh, wow.
Not an exact science, but a lot of the ones that did just ads, like general ads, were in round 2 and 3. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. What I will say is, bare minimum, this is the first time they've ever been an official partner. So before we go into predicting the Nintendo Direct, which we're doing it now just in case, what if it is crazy? What if it is next week? Right? So we got to do it now. Let's just go around quick. One game or one thing or one whatever do we think Nintendo's going to show at Summer Game Fest? Since that's probably going to happen before the Direct.
Do we think it's new?
It's up to you. Could be new. Could be
you, dude.
Yeah.
I think we get new stuff of games that we already know at Summer Games Fest, and then I think they hold that brand new IP or like one more thing for the Direct. And I think it might honestly, because of the anniversary of Splatoon, and maybe this is Copium, Splatoon 4.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
That's my guess.
Splatoon 4.
It's pretty safe. I feel like it's really safe, but it's like
also not because it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows?
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's safe, but it isn't.
I don't know that that's safe. I think that's a pretty ballsy. I mean, it's Summer Games Fest. First time there. Did they release a brand new like staple IP game at Summer Games Fest?
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm saying Splatoon is the one more thing for the direct, and the new. They're gonna give us like I think we get like new Bonanza footage, like because we've only gotten like the one trailer at Summer Games Fest. I feel like they're gonna be like Diddy Kong's here because they already redesigned him, so they're gonna be like Diddy Kong's in Bonanza now. You know. Anyway,
you think he's gonna be playable?
I got you.
Playable. I don't know, but I could see it being like when they do like the power up pass off type thing. Kind of how they do in Kirby, where it's like, oh, you're playing as Diddy Kong now, but it's for this one little mini game section thing, it'll be like little Diddy Kong mini games. You know what I'm talking about?
That's an interesting idea.
But anyways, I think we get more of what we know, or we get more stuff we don't know that we do know at Summer Games Fest, and I think they're saving the big things for the direct. But that's
and we'll get to the direct predictions after this.
Yeah, of course.
Dimitri, one thing you think Nintendo's going to do at Summer Game Fest?
Nintendo Switch Sports 2. No, I'm just kidding. That is something for the direct, I would think. But I'm tending to agree with Favlam about them just showing stuff we already know. Maybe a full-on reveal trailer for Kirby Air Riders, considering that that's releasing this year. I don't think they're going to do anything Pokemon related because they already announced a Pokemon Presents.
Yeah, that's going to have its own thing.
With that being said, I don't really think they're going to announce something major, more Bonanza footage, maybe more of Kirby Air Riders, but I'm leaning more towards they're going to reveal more about Bonanza, or it just could be something like, I mean, it's a possibility, but it could just be Nintendo being there to showcase the Nintendo Switch 2 and stuff that's already out. Because they've done that before. They did that at PAX East back in 2024, where it was literally just Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Because sometimes Nintendo doesn't take these events seriously.
Well, to be fair, PAX East is not a showcase for new games. It's just, it's a convention. That being said.
Mostly indie games, but I get what you mean, where it's not usually games from major publishers.
Yeah, like there was Night Rain there this year, but in the end, like those events are not the same. Like this event exists for game announcements. Like that's the entire point of its existence.
I mean, it's a replacement for E3.
Yeah, that's what it's attempting to do, and it does have an in-person demo thing, which would be crazy if Nintendo has in-person demos also at the Days of Play stuff. That's gonna be wild because I'm out there. Damn it. Nintendo, you're going to start doing this stuff ahead of time, so I plan to go to these things.
It's in LA, right? Like with the same theater they do the Game Awards, the Panasonic or whatever. Or
Yep. Yeah. Let's go to Mr. Robot Joe. What's your one prediction?
I honestly have to echo the same. I think just show off stuff that's
guys are
Donkey
boring.
Kong, maybe some Hyrule Warriors, and then
just boring.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
think for the
such a good take.
We might
just being realistic.
If
I think we could get some,
he was the one who went first.
I think we could get another round of Switch 2 upgrades in the direct. I think we could see Smash Brothers, maybe like a.
Let's take a pause. We're not to the direct prediction.
Oh, okay. Summer Games Fest still. Yeah, I don't know. Just Donkey Kong, maybe.
Donkey Kong, got it. There we go. Bonanza, good. Game Bird, come on. We got to go.
All right. Listen.
I'm going to entertain over here.
I'm known for going balls to the wall with some of my predictions. I'm saving that for the direct, but I will give you a more specific prediction for Summer Games Fest. I do agree with our guest today that I don't think Nintendo's going to make any massive first-party announcement that we have no clue of. I don't think we're going to see the next 3D Mario at Summer Games Fest. But
Rod's like, God damn it, somebody say something.
I do think we will get the release date trailer for Metroid Prime 4. I think Summer Games Fest is a great spot, a great avenue, just like the Game Awards. For
see that like a date.
I think Nintendo wants to get it in front of a more mainstream and widespread audience. Yeah. They've already shown it off at a number of directs. They've already had it at the Nintendo Fan Experience. It's time to put it on a stage that caters to a wider array of gamers outside of just people who watch directs. I think that's actually a great spot for it.
That's brilliant. I didn't even think about that. I think Nintendo's kind of fumbling with marketing of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Like, they're just not doing enough with it.
I think it's because they're still working on it, low-key, but that's just me.
So
Jeff Keighley's going to come out and play the damn wheelchair game. He's going to play it live on stage with the Joy-Con mouses, and Jeff Keighley's going to be like, this is the best thing. This is game of the year right here, guys.
He's actually going to be eating a Celestial hot dog in one hand and playing the game with the other.
That's what he does.
Yep.
But yeah,
that's my boy Jeff.
Not as wild as you were hoping for, Prime, but still, I think we're gonna get a release date. I think we're gonna find out when that game's coming out. We're gonna see something from that game that looks more than just like, oh yeah, this looks like Prime 1, 2, and 3.
I think that's a fair prediction. That's a very fair prediction.
You guys, this game announcement's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
So what is happening, Eric?
Yeah. We're gonna get snowboard kids for NSO. I'm kidding.
Finally, I've been waiting for that.
We've all been waiting for it.
I want a sequel to Bluey.
No, let's go with Luigi's Mansion 4. Hell yeah.
Eric, if they do that, I will say, oh, you know what I didn't get for you, Prime? I didn't get the picture. I just remembered that from our bet. I would say, Eric, if they drop Luigi's Mansion 4, I'll buy you a new vacuum.
Hell yeah.
New vacuum.
I feel like it's fitting.
A backpack? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Poltergeist.
It's got to be functional. Right? Yeah. It's got to be functional.
It's got to be like an old.
Hey, I got to give Eric credit. Finally, somebody went on the wild side over here. It's what I like to see. Because, guys,
this is huge.
Here's the thing. I didn't want to mention this because I was hoping everyone would just maybe consider this. I don't know. It's probably a direct announcement, to be fair, but Pokemon's not the November game.
Yeah, October. Yeah, I found that.
I thought it was a for November. So that means Nintendo
no way
else cooking for November.
Dude, me and Stash Man have been on the same page for the last number of podcasts. We think there's a secret big holiday game for Switch 2.
Yeah, it sounds like you're right.
Yeah, but
I don't think we get it in summer, though. I think we get it in the direct.
Watch, it's not secret. It's Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah, I think we'll hear it. We'll discuss it more during the direct predictions.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. Eric just dropped LM4. That could be it. It's a big seller.
That's pretty wild. To be fair, amazing
to see.
I think we're going to be seeing the most Nintendo logos on third-party games we've ever seen at one of these events. So, like, even if we don't get that big thing, we're going to be having a Nintendo blowout. Period.
Yeah, right. I was going to say thinking about not seeing Ubisoft there. If Ubisoft is at Summer Games Fest, maybe Nintendo shows off Mario and Rabbids 3. I can definitely see that be a Summer Games Fest announcement.
Unfortunately, as amazing as that would be, I gotta say, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is one of the most slept on Mario games.
It's
one of my favorites.
Super underrated. Yeah,
it's so underrated.
But I just feel like
unfortunately, the director of the game, he left Ubisoft, so I'm not sure if that's likely. But that would be an amazing announcement, and it makes sense. I would love that so much.
Yeah.
Or what they could do is like a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which increases the frame rate. Maybe they could do both.
So they said, Hughes Guimont said that they felt they made a mistake putting Sparks of Hope on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
They should listen to Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo. He said Nintendo's advice was they should wait. Wow. They should just do one per generation, and they didn't, and it sold significantly worse than the last one.
Yeah.
And so what he said was, before Switch 2 was even announced, that they were planning to basically re-release it on Switch 2.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Here's another thing with that game, though. Do you guys know that Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is like always discounted? I think people got used to that, and they just did not want to get the game for $60. So that's why initially the sales weren't that good.
Yep.
Easily could be a sleeper hit, though.
It's what everybody does with Ubisoft. They're like,
it's like a combination of 3D Mario and a Mario RPG. It's incredible.
Based on you guys' commentary, this might sound like a hot take. Kingdom Battle is just a better game.
It is a better game. I like the setting of Spark of Hope better, but I think Kingdom Battle's more it feels better.
Kingdom Battle was definitely more novel, but Sparks of Hope I just find to be a much better game, especially with the voice acting.
Yeah, I
Oh
just
my
think
gosh,
it makes
Rabbid
sense now. You're
Mario's
saying they
hilarious.
wanted to wait for the Switch 2 for that. That makes so much sense now.
Yeah, and Nintendo gave them that advice. Saying
That's crazy. Wow, I
this
never
feels
heard
like it
that.
could be a once a gen game. We have a lot of experience with these once a gen games. There's only select IPs that we do multiple per
Right.
gen. So like,
If I was Ubisoft, I would have came back. Well, then get your goddamn next gen out so we can actually put it out.
yeah, well, that's a different story. This is during COVID, man. So
I realize that,
stuff
but
happens.
still.
All right, Stash Man, what's your prediction for Summer Game Fest?
So, I thought about this earlier today, and I got online, and I went to go double check what the release date is for the Metroid Prime book that's coming out. And it's the release date's June 24th now. And I've long since suspected that book is tied to the release of Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Now, after going to the Switch 2 experience and playing Metroid Prime, I would say after playing for 5 minutes, maybe, I said to Michaela, I'm like, I have an idea. This is legit why Metroid Prime 2 and 3 haven't been announced yet. They're coming to Switch 2 with mouse mode because the mode is so good that this is like the definitive way to play Metroid Prime. It feels like an evolution of the Wiimote. So my prediction, I could say it for the Direct, I could say it for this, but maybe Summer Game Fest, because we all know that Metroid needs a wider audience. And Summer Game Fest would be the place for it. It would be a better place than a Nintendo Direct where, they're just streaming information direct to Nintendo fans that haven't really been buying the Metroid Prime games, right? I think you got to hit that wider audience. Summer Game Fest would be a good opportunity. And I don't know, these wouldn't be like huge announcements. Yeah. It's not like a brand new game coming, right? But I think that's coming.
Packaged? Like
possibly, man. Like there's a couple of avenues
like
I've kind of, yes, like it could be a package. If you think about it though, Metroid Prime Remastered is going to get the mouse Joy-Con treatment as well.
Right.
I fully expect it. And that's already out as a standalone release. Yeah. So do we get a 2 and 3 pack? Do we get both of them released by themselves? Or do we get a Metroid Prime trilogy? If you really want to not only provide value to fans, but get people to actually play Metroid, you give them a deal that they can't refuse, a deal that's so good.
They kind of did something similar with Pikmin before Pikmin 4 released.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I have the physical. And look at the numbers Pikmin 4 did, right? It literally took Pikmin into a completely new stratosphere, right? Like Pikmin's a seller now. Prior to wasn't. Yeah, it was a huge seller. So again, there's so many things that went right during the Switch generation that Nintendo can now apply to Switch 2 that we've talked about on this podcast. Like, making Mario Kart the evergreen title, the driver for all the other IP. Releasing a new game? Perfect. Let's get a cup for that in Mario Kart. Let's put a Metroid cup in Mario Kart. Or let's put something like this.
Do that? Where it's going to be third or like other Nintendo franchises?
Other Nintendo IP?
Moving away from that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they just did it, right? So they just did it with Mario Kart 8 DX with the DLC. I don't think it's going to be right off the bat. But again, you're putting Mario Kart World into the hands of the majority, 70%, right? It's a 70-30 split, 70% bundles, 30% non-bundles. There's a reason why you want Mario Kart in everyone's hands, and I think it is a advertising tool for Nintendo's other IP. Like it's going to act as that as well. And again, I think the reason we see that is because of the successes of Mario Kart 8 DX, because it was so damn successful. The DLC was so successful. And not only does it help Mario Kart sales, but obviously it's a driver for these other IPs. Other IPs are now benefiting. And we've talked about this with Smash. Same thing. When you put characters in Smash from other Nintendo IP, it piques people's interest and they say, who's this character? What game are they from? And I'm talking about the casual gamer, not us, right? But the casual gamer, they're asking questions now. Who's this character from? What game is this? Should I check it out? They go online, they see reviews. Oh, wow, this reviewed really well. Maybe I should go play it. That's the whole point. So if you can emulate that twice and do it with not only Smash, but with Mario Kart, that's how you grow all of these IPs. So we talk about Metroid till we're blue in the face, and we're not going to today. I'm going to move on from this, but I would just say that Metroid needs all the help it can get. And so Summer Game Fest would be a great platform for it.
Okay. You guys.
Yeah.
Everyone is so safe. Everyone is so safe right now. Like, you guys have no faith that Nintendo is going to take advantage of one of the largest marketing events of the year.
Correct.
It's correct. That's absolutely fine. Here's the thing. I was going to go with the super, super lame one. And then you guys all went lame. No offense. Eric,
screw you.
We just part of the
I like that one.
What if it's just more Pokemon Legends Zaza stuff?
No. And even if let's just say as an example, even if we're going to go with something that like, oh, it's already announced, they're going to show it again, then I'll go with Dustblood. If that's the route you want to go.
Ooh, there you go.
Why don't we see more of the game from software that fits with the audience that Summer Game Fest is catering to?
I mean, there is that.
True.
And that could, we actually saw some of that game. So clearly it's in some sort of state that they could show more of it if they want. So that would be sick, especially with Night Rain coming up. It'd be maybe a great way to like cross the road. Yeah. That being said, that's not what I want to go with now because you guys made it lame. And I was going to say, like, oh, Nintendo's just going to do like an ad and call it a day. But you know what? Fuck all of you. Now I got to go big because no one else is going big but Eric, and I can't leave him hanging. Okay? Luigi's Mansion 4, great fucking prediction. But here's what's going to happen. This hurts me because this goes against everything I've been saying about this game. They're going to show 3D Mario.
Really?
Wow. I have been of mind. Oh, I know, crazy. I have been of mind. 3D Mario's in September, right? It's the 40th anniversary. I don't think it's coming out till next year. DK Bonanza's coming out. They can't show it before DK Bonanza. Can they? No, they can't do that. Yeah, but see, they show it at this event, which probably was not my original prediction, but fuck it. Now it is. So we got to have fun with it. So, but it's going to overshadow DK Bonanza. No, because when they're showing the 3D Mario, there's a small section where DK is running in the background from DK Bonanza, showing that these games are actually interlinked together.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And
that's insane.
Yeah, I'll tell you another thing.
Are you mental?
No, because guess what?
Wayne's World? Anyone?
To this.
Mario came up, the last time Mario came up at a Jeff Keighley event was the Game Awards last year when Astrobot, who won Game of the Year, said it out loud that they had to thank the Mario franchise for their ability to even make the game they did. Awesome. Cool. Now it's time for Mario to go to a Jeff Keighley event and remind everyone who the real king of 3D platformers is. Now, look, this was not where I was going to go with this, but you know what? Nobody else is willing to do it. They're all saving the big things for the Direct. I'm telling you, they can show this now because they don't have to show it in the Direct because it's still not going to come out till next year. Anyways.
When you brought that up,
realistic, Metroid, the what I was going to say was Game Bird, the Metroid Prime 4 thing. There's not a release date yet.
Yeah.
They could drop a full trailer and do a release date kind of thing and just get that out of the way because, We've already seen it a couple of times now. They keep teasing it on Nintendo Today as well. So, but you know, I was trying to like, someone's got to have some fun. There's no point to even bring up the Summer Game Fest thing. We're not going to have fun with it. We're all just going to be like, yeah, you can show stuff. They already do like they already do every fucking day.
Listen,
the show if we, Nintendo Today, it's got to be bigger than that.
If we had more than one prediction for this, I'd get all sorts of freaky. But,
Gotta be boring.
We only got one. Yeah.
Now, when you brought that up, Nintendo Prime, were you referring to when Kit and Krista said that they thought the next 3D Mario would be a Mario Donkey Kong crossover?
No, it wasn't a reference to that. I was just trying to find a way for it not to overshadow Bonanza.
I mean, it'd be interesting, but in all seriousness, I mean,
with it if DK's in it, you know.
I just hope that Bonanza gets as much attention as it deserves because Donkey Kong has been dormant for years, and it's one of my favorite franchises, second behind Mario, and I just want this game to get as much attention as possible. And I actually feel like, you know, with Mario Kart World, that is going to be like the #1 title people are interested in, but Bonanza is very, very, very close. Like if you look at Uncle Al's Kong Watch series, it's getting a ton of views. People are very excited for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, Andres Restart's doing tons of coverage of the game, and all those videos are blowing up. I'm really happy to see that happen. I cover DK Bonanza, no one watches. It's life. That's all right. I didn't catch the DK wave yet. Oh, it's coming.
Always next time.
See, what I got to do is that. You know what the problem is? I don't have a DK suit. I got to buy a DK
man,
costume, and I got to dress up. If I dress the part, I will pop off. That's what I'm missing. All right, I'm going to Amazon right now. Well, I'm going to Amazon to look up a TK onesie. Let's get to the Nintendo Direct predictions because first off, getting into the Direct prediction part, is there any of you that think it's happening next week? Because the rumors next week or the week after?
I don't. I think it's the week after.
No,
If
it's the week after.
If it's next week, it's gonna be Friday. Actually, no, wait.
Friday
okay,
is the Summer's Games Fest.
Oh no,
That's
no,
what I'm
actually,
saying,
Monday.
yeah.
Okay, so here's
It
my
has
thing.
to
Here's
be.
my thing. Here's my thing. Actually, let me take back. I was talking to my buddy Numbnexus about this, and if we go back, haven't they done directs like the day before in the past, like the day before release? Is that, or am I crazy? Because we were like talking about it. We thought we saw like at least. Let me see. Hang on. Nintendo, like when did
So stupid.
Switch?
I don't think
you
they've ever
link?
done anything like that for the Nintendo
That's fine.
Switch.
Oh,
They
the
might have when
Donkey
they started
Kong
off
thing.
directs, but those directs were not a similar caliber.
Are you looking
Yeah,
up all the
maybe-
dates?
I know
know,
that
I'm
we have
I'm like-
Summer
I
Games
have 'em
Fest
all.
on a Friday. We have the Microsoft showcase on Sunday. We
Yeah.
have launch day for Switch 2. Nintendo usually doesn't like to throw their big
Yeah.
presentations in the middle of everything. They don't want their stuff to get overshadowed. It's usually
Yeah.
Sony that will be like, "Oh, there's a Nintendo Direct that day.
Yeah.
Let's drop a PlayStation showcase an hour afterwards." But Nintendo
Uh-huh.
usually plans their stuff outside. That's why I think it'll be the week after.
So I have a theory on as far as what the date's going to be. Yeah, I don't think it's launch week. Historically, we can go back many, many years, guys. We can go back to the early 2000s. Okay. E3. Xbox always has their showcase on Sunday. Nintendo follows it up on Monday. I think we would get a direct after the Xbox showcase that's on Sunday. So I think you will probably see one maybe on that Tuesday. But I think it's going to be after the Xbox Direct because Xbox has a lot of stuff, I think, to show that is going to obviously affect Switch 2.
I 100% agree with
Yeah, we're
Stash.
sticking with the same E3 schedule. It's just we don't have the E3 branding.
Okay. So we're pretty much mostly in agreement that it's going to be the week after.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I always felt made the most sense when Brazil brought it up. I was like, well, launch week with Summer Game Fest a bit tough, but you know, after Sunday, there's lots of free space in there to do something. And if they're an official partner of Summer Game Fest, it could even be one of those things that it's part of Summer Game Fest because Jeff Keighley claims it like he does to every event that happens around that time. but also they're an official partner now, so maybe it is a thing. Maybe they do want to have it tied. Heck, maybe it even gets announced at Summer Game Fest where they say, hey, whatever game we're showing off, see more of it at next week's Nintendo Direct, blah, blah, blah. That would be sick. Anyways, okay. So we're all kind of in agreement when it was going to happen. I just figured I'd bring it up because I'm like, it is kind of wild to think it would be launch week. But Nintendo's got Furukawa and he's built different. He did 2 things at once. We got the third party Direct and the Indie World at the exact same time.
Like, oh my God.
A week after we got the Direct for the dang museum. What is going on? Like, he's a wild man. So I'm not going to put anything by him. Next thing you know, the Direct's the same damn day as... Dude, can you imagine if he does the Direct the same day as the release of Switch 2? And I'm like, what are we doing? I'm in the Switch 2 live stream, and hey, guys, we got to watch a Direct now.
People are lined up outside of GameStop to get their Switch 2, camping out to try and snap day one, watching the Direct.
Oh, that would be wild.
Then feeling even greater disappointment when they are out of stock. They're too far back in the line.
Oh my God, you see what they just announced? The line just triples in size.
Yeah.
They showed the news.
It's coming, guys.
Anyways, all right. So let's get to the actual predictions. You can predict as much or as little as you want. I really don't care. You can go third party, you can go indie, first party, all that good jazz. Let's see. We started at the bottom, I think, last time.
Yeah.
Actually, we probably started with Favlam. I think he.
I just kind of started yapping. I'll wait till the end.
Yeah, you're last now, buddy.
All right.
Let's have Eric go first before everyone takes their games.
Is it sad that I want to do the exact same thing as what I did for Summer
More
Games?
Luigi's Mansion 4, baby.
4.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's here, baby.
And I still need to talk it into existence. Snowboard Kids for NSO.
NSO.
So
NSO
I gotta keep talking it. Gotta keep talking it into existence. So, man, yeah, I mean, outside of what they don't show at Summer Game Fest is what's going to be here. I doubt that they're going to show the same thing at both of them. So, whether it's Metroid Prime 4 at Summer Game Fest and then, probably won't show it here at the Direct, but there's plenty of stuff that we still have yet to know on what's on Nintendo's plate. So, and there's, how many, rumors of reports and remasters and things like that are still out there that we have no clue on. So I could see a whole bunch of different things with this Direct going any which direction. So I have a feeling it's going to be big because it's going to be the first one of Switch 2 though. So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Short and sweet.
In other words, banger after banger after banger.
Yeah.
In other words, the greatest Nintendo Direct of
That
all
too.
time, baby. Woo woo. All right. All right, Eric.
Don't ever do that again.
No, I will do what I want.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever. I do what I want.
No.
Prime, bitch. That too. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
All right. Let's go. Okay, let's go to one of our guests, Mr. Robot Joe.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be a lot better than the Switch 2 reveal Direct presentation. I think it's going to be more exciting. I think we get a second round of Switch 2 upgrades, not like the free Switch games that are getting upgrades. I think official Switch 2. I think we get a Smash Brothers one. I think that would hold us over until maybe Kirby Air Ride or some kind of Sakurai something. Maybe with all the DLC, I think that could be a possibility. Splatoon 3 upgrade with mouse controls and all that good stuff. Maybe an official. I don't really follow Splatoon like that, but maybe some DLC packed in or something. But and then I think we're gonna get some weird Japanese only like DS games bringing stateside, and I think I've seen like a trademark for some kind of game recently. Some kind of like
Mother 3. There it is.
Oh my god!
Finally
Don't even get me
getting
started.
it.
That would be insane.
It's
But
finally
yeah,
coming.
Some weird. I think we get some weird announcements that we don't expect. Like, oh my god, this is a game that only released in Japan on the DS, and now it's getting a remake or something. And then I don't know what it makes sense for Nintendo to do, because Mario's eventually getting announced for the 40th anniversary or something. But I'm trying to think of franchises. Maybe actually Star Fox or Kid Icarus with mouse controls. I can't imagine. I think we might see something like that. Maybe a new F-Zero. Or I think there's going to be a weird wild card where it's like we didn't see this on the Switch at all. I was talking to some people, some of my subscribers, about like no Kid Icarus, no Star Fox, no this, and then they were like, yeah, it's probably because Nintendo knew they were going to do mouse controls for the Switch 2 5 years ago, and they thought we'll just wait to the next generation. And yeah, I think that's what we're going to get. One of those. If I had to guess, any of them, probably Star Fox, but I would like to see Kid Icarus with the mouse controls. And that's it.
Okay. That's fair.
Fire.
Let's go to the bird is the word.
All right. I think this is going to be a banger. I think the next direct is going to be badass.
Certified hood classic.
Absolutely. Where do I start? Okay. Let's start with some obvious ones, kind of to echo Robot Joe. I do think we'll see some more Switch upgrades, enhancements like that. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more third-party stuff that's already out on other platforms, whether it's Red Dead Redemption 2 or Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, games like that. You know, maybe the Dragon Age Veilguard or Clair Obscur, Metaphor ReFantazio. Some of the big games that are on other platforms that those companies are going to want to get on Switch 2 as soon as possible, while the hype is at an all-time high. As far as new things, I think we'll get a release date trailer for the new Hyrule Warriors, and see some new gameplay, a little bit of a deeper dive on that one. Because I do think that game is going to be demoed later in the year at probably like PAX West or something. I know that they demoed in the past Echoes of Wisdom at PAX West. Brand new things. I'm gonna go balls to the wall with this one. I predicted this for the Switch 2 reveal direct. A new Star Fox game. I think we're going to see a new vision for Star Fox. It's not going to be just another Star Fox 64 re-release. I think they realize like they have a great IP that they just need to reinvent and kind of modernize and not let it be held back by the 64. And I say that with all the love for Star Fox 64. I think it's time for Fire Emblem to make its appearance. I think Fire Emblem is a very strong contender for the Nintendo Direct. Another third party. This is a very specific prediction. I don't know why, but I just have like a gut feeling. I think we might see the next Suda51 / Grasshopper Studios game at the Nintendo Direct. I don't know why. Suda's been there for all the Nintendo consoles. Big support on the Wii. He supported the Switch. He's a big Nintendo fan. He loves when there's like new control types and innovations added to hardware. I see him having fun with the mouse mode, whatever he decides to come up with. Whether it's not going to be No More Heroes. He's already stated that the next No More Heroes is, you know, if not impossible, a really, really long ways away. But I think Suda51's next game is a strong possibility. I think, oh man, I'm struggling with this one because I'm not sure if it'll be Microsoft or Nintendo, but Silksong release date trailer, like the final trailer for Silksong. I think it's a possibility. And then I think the big one, man, I've said this maybe 3 shows now. I think Stash and I are on the same page on this one. We'll find out when Stash goes, but I'm not ruling out Mario, the next 3D Mario, being the big holiday game this year. I know most people don't think it's happening. I would not be surprised. I do not think it's an impossibility. I don't think that DK Bonanza in any way interferes or is a conflict of interest. And I think Nintendo, They may have been saving this one. They've already got Mario Kart for the initial hype to do that first huge push. I think they've been holding this one tight. I think it might be ready to be shown at this direct. It's the big one more thing, and it's coming out this holiday. And I think that's setting them up for one of the strongest opening years of Nintendo hardware ever.
Okay. Pretty good. All right, let's go to one of our guests here, Demeech.
All right. Well, I got 4 predictions, 1 third party we're going to start off with. I think Pac-Man World 2 repack might be coming. I say might because they
Finally.
just had like a 45th anniversary thing where they posted about it, but they haven't really revealed anything. They could just be doing that Shadow Labyrinth thing to celebrate, but I think there might be a possibility. It's definitely a game that resonates with a lot of Nintendo fans. It'd be cool to see.
Yep.
I also think that for my 3 predictions for first-party games, there's going to be one that's safe, one that's like a wild card, and then one that's like the one more thing. Because that's kind of how it was in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct in April, where Mario Kart, yeah, that was a safe bet. I mean, we knew about the game first when the Switch 2 was revealed. Then with Donkey Kong Bonanza, that was a little more out of left field. As for wild card, I would say maybe Dragon Drive, but that's a new IP. So we're going to start off with the safe bet. Everybody's thinking about 3D Mario as the Christmas title or holiday title this year. I'm willing to say that it is 3D Mario. We're probably going to get that in a September Direct to coincide with the 40th anniversary. But Animal Crossing, I think it's time. You make a sequel to the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch. It only makes sense to make a sequel to the second best-selling game. And it's been 5 years since.
Yeah.
That's true. Or I could even see them
love
doing
that.
like a Switch 2 edition.
Yeah.
See, the thing with Nintendo Switch 2 editions is I feel like they're okay in certain circumstances, like with Super Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
If they're games that aren't like a once-per-generation thing. But I honestly think that it's time for Animal Crossing. Next one, this one's going to be really weird, but I want to just predict it into existence. Game & Watch Gallery 5, but it'll be called Game & Watch Gallery Museum or Game & Watch Museum, where it'll have every Game & Watch game, including remakes and original versions of them.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That will
Yeah.
also be on Nintendo Switch, not just
I
Switch
love that.
2. And then my final prediction, and this could be a conflict of interest considering we're getting Mario Kart World and we're also getting Kirby Air Riders. I think that it's time for a new F-Zero. Nintendo's really been hyping up the series. Did you guys notice they did that with Donkey Kong?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah.
They started off with the
absolutely.
movie. Then they brought the games to Nintendo Switch Online. They promoted the hell out of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Yeah, they
And-
did. Oh my god.
Yeah. And of
And
course,
then
the theme park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
F-Zero does not have a
that's
theme park.
that's definitely a pattern for sure.
I think it's
I like
time.
that.
And just could you guys imagine how amazing a new F-Zero game would look on Switch 2?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like with the Nintendo Switch 2, and this might be a hot take, they really haven't had a first-party game that's like besides Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, that's like a full showcase of realistic-looking graphics, just showcasing the full potential of what the Nintendo Switch 2 can do. Because games like Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza look great. More so Bonanza, I think that looks better. But they go for a very cartoony art style, which is great. But at the same time, they want to impress with something more realistic looking. And F-Zero would definitely be that.
Yeah.
Totally. Real quick before we jump to the next person, I left one of my notes. That's one of my predictions. I skipped over. I just wanted to throw out there real quick because I think it's a solid one. Platinum. I imagine we'll see some platinum representation. I know they're
I
working
hope.
on Ninja Gaiden 4. That as far as I'm aware, that has not been announced for Switch 2. So I think that's going to be announced for Switch 2. But on top of that, I would not be surprised to see a new Astral Chain or a new original title from Platinum. I don't think Bayonetta's coming yet. I know the creator left. I don't think that means Bayonetta's dead. You know, oftentimes studios will move on without their creators. You know, we saw what Konami did with Metal Gear Solid after Kojima left. What was that? Metal Gear Survive, the zombie multiplayer. Yikes. But anyways, yeah, platinum representation. Specifically, I think we'll see Ninja Gaiden 4 and something new from them.
I did have one more to throw in there. I think that Mario Kart World will get announcement of free DLC. They're probably going to do a thing where they update the game to coincide with other games. Like with Diddy Kong, for example, they might have him in Mario Kart World when Donkey Kong Bonanza releases. I feel that's the direction they're going to go with it.
I see.
Kind of like Splatoon.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go next. I was just looking at the order we're doing. We know Vlam is last, so I mean,
I got my notes ready. Damn it! I got every single game ready.
so
Got mine too.
I'm
Good
gonna go.
lord, Steve!
Oh yeah, Steve always has like the
Moving
longest.
a bullet point for Christ's sakes.
I love when Steve goes. I love when Steve goes.
Yeah,
So here's the thing. I'm not going to go over every possible thing because I already know that Favlam and Steve are going to have pretty long lists. I literally knew this coming into this topic. So, and that's fine. We have a hell of a show. We got some great Q&A questions that have come in, and it's only going to get. I mean, we talk about Pokemon. That's going to come up during our Q&A for sure because we had all that break today. So, what I actually want to focus on here is the 6 games. Focus on 6 games here. Most of them are first party, a couple third parties. So we'll go from my bottom to the top here. So Kirby Air Riders trailer with a release date. I think it's just inevitable. I think it might even come out before the end of summer. We'll see. Kind of wild because Mario Kart is also summer, but we'll see what happens with that. It is coming out the same year, so what's the point of waiting 6 months? Like, it's not going to be the December game. So Metro Prime 4 trailer and release date. I think we get that here. I originally thought it was going to be October. Now I don't think it's going to be October. So we'll see. We'll see when they decide to do Metro Prime 4. I think we're going to a Final Fantasy VII Remake release date because we don't have one yet, and that's this year. But I think immediately following that release date drop, they're going to drop a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth 2026. Just let people know, hey, this is only the beginning. The next one's coming. They've already sort of teased it in interviews, saying the whole series is coming. But hey, get the announcement out there. Keep people hyped. Let them know this isn't a one-off. I think it's a good idea. That's a third-party one. Another third-party one, we've already went into it. Mario plus Rabbids, except it's going to be a combo pack for a Switch 2 edition announcement from Ubisoft. Probably coming out later this year. Yeah, I think it's going to be a later this year release. They might even do it like in October, the same month as Pokemon, because Mario, they're two like very different games. So they might think they can get some holiday sales there. And Ubisoft needs all the sales they can get. So positioning something as a holiday release exclusive on Nintendo would potentially do well for them. And there might be a lot of day one or year one adopters of Switch 2 that never got one or both of those games. So they might feel it's a good value. If you're getting 2 games for like $60-$70, it might work for it there. Luigi's Mansion 4. I think this is announced towards the end of the direct, not the final announcement, the second to last announcement. Luigi's Mansion 4 ends up being the big holiday game. This is why when Eric brought it up for Summer Game, I'm like, God damn it, that's why like my huge direct prediction. Like that's the big holiday game. I just think, it comes after the 40th anniversary of Super Mario began. Luigi is a Super Mario brother. And you had Mario Kart, you have that, then you have 3D Mario next year. They're starting to bring Mario and DK back together, so they probably consider DK Bonanza. It's kind of part of all that. So I kind of feel like that fits in really well. And look, let's just be honest. Right now, Nintendo hasn't dropped any games on Switch 2 that make people go, wow, when it comes to visuals. They haven't released a visually stunning game for Switch 2 yet. Good-looking games. DK Bonanza looks great. Mario Kart World looks great. Metro Prime 4 on Switch 2 looks great, but none of these feel like knock your teeth out next-gen visual experiences. I feel like Luigi's Mansion 4 will feel that way. Because Luigi's Mansion 3 was so good-looking on Switch.
Yeah.
I think an LM4 is going to make... And people go, cartoon go play Luigi's Mansion 3 on Switch. It is a visually stunning game.
Is there even a Switch game that comes close to Luigi's Mansion 3 in terms of how graphically impressive it is?
A couple, but I feel like
different art styles. People put Metro Prime Remaster up there, but it's a different art style.
Yeah.
Trying to think off the top of my head now. I was not prepared for visually stunning Switch One games.
Maybe
There's
Mario
a there's
Kart
a li-
Deluxe?
there's a long list. I mean, I think one of the things that really lends itself to Luigi's Mansion 2 beyond like the incredible lighting and the great visuals is the animations.
Yeah.
And look at what we've seen already as far as the new DK game and how expressive and how awesome the animations are in that game. I could only imagine what they're going to look like in the next Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion.
I hope Guigi comes back.
So
The gooey one.
So I
love
said that it was going to be the second to last announcement, right? So everyone's going to think it's the end of the direct, but it's not the one more thing. The final thing they show is a 2026 game, but it's one that people will be freaking out
Yeah.
for the rest of the year. No one's going to really care what else is happening.
I know
If you're
what
a
you're
huge
going to say.
Nintendo fan, it's Ocarina of Time remake.
Yeah.
Oh my
Ocarina
goodness.
of Time remake.
Yeah, they would too. They would do it.
And if it's an actual remake from the ground up, we just came off being stupidly impressed by LM4, and then you see Zelda.
Yeah.
People are
That'd be
going to lose
incredible.
their shit. It's the 40th anniversary next year.
Yeah. I
Get
would
that
lose mine
tease
too,
out there
yeah.
right fucking now. Let
Mhm.
people know you've got
Special
that
edition
and
Switch
Blood
2 comes
already
with it.
next year. Oh shit! And we're not going to see that game again until next year, and that's fine. We don't have to. All we need is a teaser for it, and people are gonna. Just need the opening music for the fucking title screen redone, right, and fully orchestrated,
Link
and
riding
then
Epona.
and then just riding Epona across Hyrule, just that shot,
Oh, it would give me chills, dude.
and
It'd
then
be
the
crazy.
logo done. 2026. You're like, people would be fucking. They literally would stop.
Just the piano. They're like,
Yeah,
brrrr,
yeah, the harp and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're just gonna tail spike just off of that reveal, just because. And it's we're at launch. We're still not even outside of like 1 week from launch. So like, it's insane. We're not even a week into the system, and we're already talking about Ocarina of Time remake.
That would be insane. I'd die.
My
I just
question
died.
though is, with the Nintendo Switch 2
Midstream.
Direct back in April, why wouldn't they reveal any of those games then? Like, I mean, it's a great idea. I'm just like a little bit just wondering what Nintendo's logic would be. Like, does anyone else have a theory?
Well, I look at it like this: like heading into Switch, we did know about Mario Odyssey, obviously, and obviously knew about Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. And I think we knew about Splatoon as well, but we didn't know about all the games that came out that year. We didn't. So like the way Nintendo works is they like to spread the announcements out. So like really what they want to do for launch is they want to focus on, hey, we have Mario Kart World and DK Bonanza coming, and we want to focus on these third-party games that are coming, and that's what we're going to do. And then having a direct so close after launch, I think just really encapsulates the whole, hey, we're just getting started. So I kind of feel like that's the way Nintendo's sort of approaching it. If this rumor is true that the direct's happening, that's why we're doing the predictions. Because I do feel like, if people aren't excited for Switch 2 because they don't like Mario Kart World, it's going to sell out at launch anyways. So get people excited a week after launch. Why not?
Yeah.
It makes sense. I'm just a little surprised that Nintendo didn't have like that big graphical showcase when the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened. I mean, with Super Mario Odyssey, that was kind of like it because it was like the next gen Mario game.
Yeah, I think they felt like DK Bonanza might have been that, but then when you look at it, you're like, it kind of looks like Mario Odyssey. It doesn't look like. Don't get me wrong, the destructible environments and all that stuff, I'm sure they needed the power of Switch 2 to really do some of that stuff. But from a visual perspective, it's like, no, you just kind of look like another Mario game that's doing some cool shit, which is fine. But you don't look like that big standout visual stuff. That's why a lot of people thought like something from Monolith Soft could end up getting shown off. That's what a lot of people thought was going to happen in the Switch 2 Direct, because it'd be like, hey, even if that's not this year, that's a visually stunning thing. We know Zelda's not for a little bit. But they didn't go that route. They went with their most popular IP. And they're bringing back DK in a big way, and that's what they're leaning on for launch, and that's fine because they obviously know the Nintendo plans these things out months in advance. They obviously knew they were going to have a direct shortly after launch, so they kind of figured, hey, we don't need to worry about that stuff. We can get that after we get past the launch period, and then they have another direct. They have the 40th anniversary coming up for Mario in September, and they always do September directs. So Nintendo's kind of set up really, really pretty right now to just kind of dominate for the next like 6 months, and maybe even further, because the September direct might even set up like all the way to March of next year of game releases, and they tend to have a big game in March as well. Maybe that's when 3D Mario even comes out right before the movie. I have no idea, but we'll see.
You know what else would be wild? I'm thinking about like, man, if they show off Ocarina of Time remake, I mean, that's going to be just so freaking huge for Zelda fans across the world. I mean, that game means so much to most like lifelong Zelda fans. That game has such a strong place in their hearts. But another crazy one, I just thought about how wild this would be. And I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility. Let's say that the second to last game they show is Kirby Air Riders. That one was already teased. And then we get to see gameplay. We get the release date for it. And they're like, oh, and we've got one more announcement. And then it's freaking Smash Brothers. And they run the Smash Brothers trailer for 2026. And Sakurai comes out. You know, he's like chuckling. You know, you thought he was done with Smash. Being all coy about it. It's like, yeah, I was working on Kirby Air Riders for a while ago, but I never said that was the only thing I was working on. And yeah, Smash would be huge, because then it's like we got Mario Kart and we got Smash within 12 months or whatever. Maybe Smash wouldn't be till the next holiday, but that would be a pretty epic reveal, I feel like.
Awesome. All right.
Amazing.
Speaking of stash, he really wanted to go second to last, so it's the stash man's turn. Oh boy, I'm excited for this list. He's always
Bring it.
we got about a 45-minute list here. Let's go, baby.
All right, everyone get
Start my monologue here. Okay.
I wish that notepad was like 10 times the size of a
It
normal
looked like it at first.
notepad.
Yeah.
That's what I thought about that.
Like a phone book.
Oversized. Oh my god.
With a giant pencil. You know, he's got like his big pencil and stuff.
All right, here we go, Stash.
Okay, let's see here. If I say something twice, forgive me. All right. Metroid Prime 1 and 2. Again, I think we see that. Something that I have been thinking about a lot. And again, Gamebird, you just mentioned it a moment ago. You mentioned Smash in 2026, right? Are you talking about the new Smash?
The new Smash. I'm not talking no Ultimate.
Okay.
I'm talking a brand new Smash Brothers.
I think there's a good chance that we get Smash Brothers Switch 2 edition in 4K. I think there's a very good chance we get that. I think it would go a long way if they fixed the online play in the game as part of the Switch 2 edition. I don't know how hard that would be or what would go into it, but I think there's a really good chance we can get a Switch 2 edition. And I think there's a reason why that wasn't included as part of the 12 games that are getting updates and as part of the games that are getting a Switch 2 edition. I think it's strategically planned to get that a little bit later, not everything at once, because they want to make a big deal out of it. Let's see. Elden Ring. We need to get a date on Elden Ring. Additionally, no, it's not.
Fair enough.
No,
yeah.
Love it.
So I think that we're going to get just a little bit. Nothing that would mess with the Elden Ring lore, because there is lore there. I think we get something Zelda related in the game. Whether it be a couple of items like a Master Sword, possibly some armor, maybe even Epona.
That'd be sick.
Or an Epona skin. Yeah, something that
Hylian
ties
shield.
in. Yes, exactly. Nothing huge. Again, nothing that's going to tinker with the lore, because they got a lot going on there. They have a movie planned. And I forget the guy who did some of the lore for the game. Famous dude. He did Game of Thrones.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin.
Martin, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with all of that stuff, right? That's why I don't think we're going to get anything crazy, but I think we'll get some nods. Okay. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, 100%. We're going to get the release date. All that's said so far is 2025. Nate, you mentioned getting a trailer for Rebirth, and I think that would be a really good timing, okay? Because I know Rebirth is coming. You guys know Rebirth is coming. Any of us who have read any of the news, right? Or ask the developer, we know Rebirth's coming. We know the trilogy's coming, right? We do. The everyday gamer does not. So I think it would go a long way if you give the release date for Remake and then you show the trailer for Rebirth. That gets people's buy-in because they're like, okay, so the other games are coming too.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to play part one of a game and then be stuck for 8 years.
Yeah.
Because you're only putting the games on PlayStation. I think people need that confirmation, despite the fact that we all know it. Everyone in chat probably knows it, but the everyday gamer does not know it. So they need to do that in order to really maximize the sales potential for Final Fantasy VII. Silksong. Again, Silksong's coming out this year. It was in the first direct. I think we're going to get an update on that. Now, here's one that's interesting, okay? And it's about Mario, right? And I've long since thought that, yes, we can get a 3D Mario. I know a lot of people have crapped on the idea. And look, I get it, right? It could go either way. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. No big deal. We're going to get it next year around the movie then, right? Either way, we know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I do wonder, like with Mario 3D All-Stars, right? Is that, do we get anything in that realm? And for me, playing Mario 3D All-Stars on Switch, I immediately felt that these games should be running better. Okay. If I can play Mario 64 on my PC in 4K at 60 frames per second, that's not good. The best place to play all of the classic Nintendo titles should be on a Nintendo platform, right? So the fact that there's a better version out there made by someone who's coding in a garage on the weekend, that shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? The hobbyist shouldn't be making better versions of Nintendo games. Nintendo should have the best version. And they need to fix that. Okay? Because if they do, people wouldn't go and try and play these games, right? People wouldn't be interested. But when you say, hey, Steve, you can play 4K Mario 64 at 60 FPS? Like, really? Interesting. Let me check this out, right? Because we're gamers. That stuff interests us. So I'm thinking they got to do something with this 3D All-Stars collection. Mario 64 should be in 4K 60. That would be really nice. Mario Sunshine should be in 4K 60, and so should Mario Galaxy. Now, I've long since thought that Mario Galaxy 2 was left out for a reason. And it could be like, for me, I think it could be one of two reasons. One is that strategy to add it later on for another anniversary. Here we are 5 years later, possibly.
Yeah.
Or it's so Switch 1 owners can eat also. So if a brand new 3D Mario comes out on Switch 2, it's only going to be on Switch 2, and that leaves out 155 million people on Switch 1. Now, obviously, some of those are going to be coming over to Switch 2, not all at once. And you only have so many Switch 2s to buy. But if you look at that install base, you have to feed them too, right? You have to feed them for Mario's 40th. Mario Galaxy 2 is a great way to do that. Not only that, but you could release it on Switch 1 and then have an update for Switch 2 where it runs 4K 60, just like the aforementioned 3D Mario games. So I think there's a real opportunity there to make that better. Will it happen? I don't know, but I think we get something Mario related, whether it's a new 3D Mario or an update to the All-Stars. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm gonna rapid fire you guys these. Okay, we're gonna get a date on Hades 2. I played it at the Switch 2 experience. Demesh, did you play it?
Hades 2? I did
Yeah,
not play it. I actually just played like mostly the first party games because it's a Nintendo Switch 2 experience and it's mostly for my channel. But I did have one question or one
did
thing
the
to say
same.
about 3D All Stars. I kind of have a feeling that game was only developed like when the rumors started about the game because it just seemed like there wasn't much passion put into it. Like, sure, the games run, some of them run okay. I think they could have done a lot more with Super Mario 64 and they both should have been in 60 frames per second widescreen. But with 3D All Stars 2, I think they might do something better. Like I don't think they would expand on Super Mario 3D All Stars. Like maybe succeed it, but I couldn't see them really doing a Nintendo Switch 2 edition thing. I don't think this is going to be like the McRib of Nintendo games where they bring it back every 5 years.
Yeah, I did, and if I came across that way, that's not what I meant. I just mean like in the All Stars realm, right? We're gonna get something new, like we're gonna revisit the All Stars idea. But as far as this, the Super Mario 3D All Stars, we all know that was a limited release.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
So
I think I misunderstood it a little bit.
Yeah, my bad. I think they're just going to revisit. Yeah, it just seems like a good opportunity to revisit that. And I do think they strategically left the door open on the quality as far as running at 60 FPS, right? Could they have done that on Switch 1? Yes. I think they could have. But if they did that, then they can't resell it to you on Switch 2 where it runs better.
What about Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 64 DS? You think they're going to include them?
I think there's a possibility that they do, especially with like 64 DS. That's a great one. 3D Land's awesome. I don't see why those should be stuck on those platforms forever, right? But then you got to ask, are they ever going to do the DS on NSO? Because if they are, then they don't include something like that. Because that would be a flagship title for the Nintendo DS NSO. So it really just comes down to what their long-term strategy is going to be. Okay, Hades 2, yeah. So again, I played that at a Switch 2 experience, and Demetrius, I ended up staying there for like 5 hours. I stayed much longer than I was supposed to.
How do you end up staying there for 5 hours? Did you have like an early appointment? Because mine was like at 3. I think we stayed for like 3 hours.
We just finagled it. Yeah,
he just refused to leave.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he just like circled back.
It's actually really funny because when we were talking with Stash on the podcast about his experience, and we were sharing footage from when he was playing, he was showing the footage from when he stayed way after and circled back to DK Bonanza, and you could literally see through the reflection of the TV some of the like Nintendo employees just like looming over him, looking like, what the hell do we do? How do we get this guy out of here?
Get out.
And he just kept loading the demo back up, and they look confused, like
When I was there, getting footage, there was this lady who was just like so adamant that my hands were in the frame at all times, holding up the controller, and she was breathing down my neck. It was insane.
I wonder if it's the same lady. Because he said breathing down his neck. That's exactly what the lady was like when I was playing Donkey Kong. It felt like she was breathing down my neck.
Your hands couldn't be in the frame while you recorded?
No,
they had to be.
Yeah.
They had to be. Gotcha.
You have to have some sort of part of
they didn't want I got it. I'm there.
When you're recording Nintendo games.
Did you go to the New York?
They don't want like pure gameplay.
I went to the Dallas one, but I think the staff could have been the same. Was she like a shorter lady and just like very much like a stickler for the rules, stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, I went to the New York one, and yeah, that was the vibe for sure. Shorter.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about, and like when I was getting footage, I think she appeared in it. Oh, Riders DX was there for it too.
Yeah,
it's in the chat right now.
Okay, all right. So Hades 2, I think we're gonna get a date on that. That's a game I'm very excited about. It did very well. Hades did extremely well on Switch 1. It's really a flagship indie title. Another indie game that we're due an update on is 2 games from the same developer from Yacht Club Games, Mina the Hollower.
Oh my god.
Very excited for this game, and the Shovel Knight DX. Again,
Yep.
these are all iconic like indie games, right? That are
Yep.
synonymous with Nintendo that I expect to get an update on.
Dude, please, for Mina the Hollower. Sorry to jump in.
excited for it.
Have any of you guys ever played Fantasy Critic games? It's like fantasy football, but you basically bid. You pick and you bid on games, and it tallies up reviews using Open Critic. And the person with the highest overall score, the games that reviewed the highest, wins essentially. And 2 years of me bidding on Mina the Hollower. I'm so like, please just come. Hopefully this is the year. That game looks so good. Sorry.
Yeah, guys, if you're not
Segue.
familiar with Mina the Hollower, I would suggest checking it out. It's going to be awesome. Okay, Ease X Proud Nordics. That's coming out July 31st in Japan on Switch 2. I think we're going to get an update on that as far as when the US release date is. And that's going to be a big one. EA. I think we're going to hear from EA. Mass Effect Trilogy. Perfect Home on Switch 2. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out on PlayStation 4, and it was specifically to take advantage of the PS4 Pro. That was the whole thing, is that they added HDR and all this other stuff. Perfect Home on Switch 2. Mario Wonder. Okay, again, talking about Mario, I do wonder if we're going to get a Switch 2 edition with some DLC, because they left the door wide open. There's no DLC on that.
Well, it doesn't
Again,
have
it could
like
be a reason why.
it doesn't have like upgrade features though. Like we're getting like HDR and stuff with Wonder.
Yeah, I don't think.
No, I'm
Wonder-
pretty
That's
sure
not
we
on
are.
the list. No,
I'm crazy?
100%.
I mean,
I have
They
the
could
list.
do
No,
a Mario
no.
Wonder Switch 2 edition.
No,
That'd
the-
be kind of cool.
I think they will.
Definitely 120 frames per second. They kind of teased that
Yeah.
when they announced it.
I think they
Oh, yeah,
left
you're
out
right, yeah.
the
Little Mario
DLC for
running and jumping.
Yeah, they left out DLC for a reason, in my opinion. Because why wouldn't they add DLC to that? And again, I think it's just too coincided with the Switch 2 edition. So that's something to be
it's
excited about.
U. It was the U Mario one
Yep.
U. That's what I got confused with. My bad.
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah, I'm super excited to test out all those games personally. Red Dead Redemption 2. Game I've been talking about since probably around this time last year. And then recently it's been pretty much confirmed that we're going to get that. Here's another one that we got a Peggy rating on. Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
I expect that to come out this year again. Ubisoft needs to make money and they need to make it fast. Mario Rabbids, I think we're going to get a Switch 2 collection again for all the same reasons that we've discussed for well over a year. And that these games, obviously, Sparks of Hope did not perform well. And it should have been released on Switch 2. And I think that was the plan. But ultimately, I think things got pushed internally. Diablo 4. Diablo 4. Again, Switch 2, perfect
That'd be a
home.
huge win.
Yeah, the Diablo Eternal Collection did very good on Switch 1. And again, it just makes sense. Metaphor ReFantasia.
Yeah.
Gamebird, you mentioned that. I played it. Yep. I platinumed the game. Reviewed it on PS5. Absolutely loved it. Perfect home on Switch 2. Dragon's Dogma 2. I think there's a decent chance that comes to Switch 2. And I say decent only because the frame rate chugs a little bit on PS5. It runs at 30 frames. So we'll see about that. Kingdom Come Deliverance. That was a game that came out earlier this year. Kingdom Come is on Switch 1. I expect it to come to Switch 2. Let's see. Indiana Jones. We haven't heard yet about the Giants DLC. That's a big thing that's supposed to be coming. The fact that we haven't heard about it yet is interesting because the release date for it is spring, and we're almost out of spring. So I think we're going to get an update probably at the Xbox Showcase on June 8th. We'll finally hear when it's coming. But Indiana Jones, again, it's a very expensive IP. It did not sell numbers on Xbox. It's already selling. PS5 has already outsold Xbox and Steam. And it came out, I think, mid-April. So they need to get that over to Switch 2 to make up the rest of the sales. I think we're going to see NBA 2K. We haven't seen it yet. That was at the Switch 2 Direct. I think we see WWE 2K. I think we do see the Halo Master Chief Collection. I think we're going to see a lot of games from Microsoft.
Yep.
Gamebird, I think you mentioned it. Ninja Gaiden 4. I fully expect it. We're getting Ragebound on Switch 1, and I expect Ninja Gaiden 4 on Switch 2. Persona 3 Reload, I think there's a very strong possibility that shows up in some sort of sizzle reel. A game that is really synonymous with Nintendo launch or launch windows is Super Monkey Ball. I think we need a Monkey Ball on Switch 2. Now, whether they take the most recent one that came out and they give it a Switch 2 edition, which again, Sega just did that with Sonic X Shadow. Maybe they'll do that. I think the games came out around the same time frame. The most recent Monkey Ball is not that old. Did anyone mention the Oblivion remake?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think that's totally
no.
coming to Switch.
Oh yeah, that could be a good one.
Look at the
Yeah.
success of Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
Oblivion remake feels like an automatic. It's more or less just when are they going to release it? Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Again, this is a long rumored game. Starfield. Another game that underperformed and needs to make money. They have not announced the PS5 edition yet. I think the reason they haven't is because they're going to announce it at the same time with Switch 2. Tekken 8. Again, this is another rumored game. It wasn't, in my opinion, they haven't announced it yet because they want to let Street Fighter cook first, and then we'll bring in Tekken. We don't need two fighting games to be announced at the same time. Those that cannibalize each other. Resident Evil 4. Guys, are we getting Resident Evil?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
No.
I think we're going to see a lot of them. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously 4, 2, 8. I think that all those make sense. We're due for a Resident Evil 9 announcement. Capcom's going to be at Summer Games Fest. They might do it there. They might do it at the Microsoft, but I guarantee you the next Resident Evil is coming to Switch. So if that's something that gets announced, I would not be surprised to see that land in the Direct. We just don't know if it's ready to be shown yet.
I say Resident Evil 4. Like, I know we're going to get 2, 3, and 4. But Resident Evil 4 really is synonymous with Nintendo. You got to remember, that was a GameCube exclusive.
Yeah.
That was part of the Capcom 5. The 5 games that were exclusive. That exclusivity deal that included, Killer 7, I believe Beautiful Joe, right? A game that was canceled that looked like it could be Kid Icarus and something else. I forget the name. But that's why I think Resident Evil 4 would be pretty iconic. Kingdom Hearts, guys.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not acknowledging the cloud bullshit.
Yeah,
Okay.
either.
Please
Doesn't
be with
exist,
me on
yeah.
that. We need physical editions of Kingdom Hearts. This is such an easy seller on Nintendo to Nintendo's audience. Am I right?
I think we get it. I think we get that announcement. Not that. I think we'll get it reiterated at the Direct, but I honestly think we get that at Summer Games. Actually,
yeah,
I think we see it. I think we see it initially there, and then they'll reiterate in the Direct.
I think that's a good call, man. I really do,
Yeah.
because it's such a great. Summer Game Fest is a great place to have it, obviously, because it's going to make tons of noise, but we
Oh,
need
yeah.
physical editions of this.
Agreed.
But how much you want to bet they're going to do a game key card on that?
Of course. I mean, it's a large game. Plus,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're gonna like push the digital versions anyways.
I know.
So.
It is what it is. It really is at this point. Okay, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. What do you guys think? Are we getting that 4K 60 mode? Because we know 4K is in the code.
Yeah, I think
we-
it's likely.
Is it in the code? Okay.
Yeah. It is. It's in the code.
Maybe. I think we do get a Switch 2 edition of that. Actually, I could see that happening.
So from what I read from developer interviews with Thousand Year Doors, that they could have really pushed to get 60, but they couldn't have locked it. So I think there was a reason that they didn't lock it in, and that's to give us the Switch 2 edition. 100% on that.
You think they'll include something like Luigi in the Waffle Kingdom?
That'd be funny. That'd be really funny.
You know, we all kind of, I think there was a group, me included, that were hoping maybe we'd get some Luigi content, you know, based on, it was all the letters in the game. And, you know, Nintendo has such a great opportunity to do something there, to really appease fans who have been
Extra
with the Thousand Year Door since the GameCube era. Also, I think you gotta upgrade Thousand Year Door, because if you bring Thousand Year Door to the GameCube NSO and it's running at 60 frames, people are going to be, the casuals are going to be confused. Like, wait a minute.
Yep.
How does this GameCube game run better than the one on Nintendo Switch?
They won't even be able to wrap their heads around it.
Yeah, and then they'll get on, you know, Twitter and all social media and just start losing their minds, right? So
we're probably going to see 1,000 videos about it with AI generated thumbnails of Mario.
Yep, probably. Here's a game that really could benefit from a Switch 2 update, and that's Mario and Luigi Brothership. A lot of people talked about the performance of the game. Now,
just try to avoid spoilers because I haven't beaten the game yet.
No, I'm not giving anything. That's it. I'm stopping right there.
All right.
And then GTA 4, we can't forget about that.
Yeah.
Now, the rumor is Switch 1. But will it run better on Switch 2? But we'll have to wait and see. Xenoblade Chronicles X. 60 FPS?
Yeah.
It was
That's
in the
what I'm
code.
waiting for.
Awesome.
Remember,
I'm
it's in
literally
the
waiting
code.
for that.
Same here. It's sitting over there. I'm not going to play it.
I'm literally waiting.
Yeah, I'm waiting. And you guys think about that. That game is it can be several hundred hours, depending on the way you play and if you're a completionist. That is a ton of content just waiting to be unlocked on Switch 2. So again, I think the strategy is Nintendo drip feeds that, right? They're going to drip feed those Switch 2 editions, and they're probably going to use it strategically to fill in time on the calendar, right?
Just
fill
like
in some
Wii
of
U
those empty
ports.
spots. Exactly. All right, here's my last part. NSO updates. I think we get our first batch of updates on NSO. So, candidates, in my opinion, Mario Strikers, and Dimitri, you know why? Because it was at the Switch 2 experience. That was a game there. So
Now,
it's
when
not
you played it-
launching.
When you played it there, did you notice that like some of the shadows wouldn't load in and the performance was a little choppy?
No, I didn't play it. I played Wind Waker and F-Zero. I watched people play it.
I do wonder. I hope they fix that in it. I think they will. That's why it's not going to be at launch. But I think Strikers is going to be next.
Yeah, I think Strikers, and a game that I would obviously love to see, and given that it's summertime, I think there's no better game
Cool
to bring
borders.
to the GameCube NSO than Wave Race Blue Storm.
Yeah, Wave Race.
Yeah.
Man, it's jet ski season. What are you talking
Super Mario
about?
Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine, here's the thing, right? Is that what are we doing with that game? What are
Yeah.
we doing with the 3D All-Stars? Again, I think there's a different plan for that. For example, Metroid Prime. What are we doing with that? What are we doing with Prime 1 and 2? Unless there wasn't a plan. Otherwise, I think those games hit GameCube NSO at launch. But I think there's other plans for those games, which is why we haven't heard anything, which is why they weren't even previewed. You remember when they showed the little preview during the Switch 2 Direct of the GameCube games that are coming? We didn't see Metroid Prime. We didn't see Metroid Prime 2. I think there's a reason. And then one Super Nintendo game, Mario Paint.
Great idea.
The mouse mode, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
That'd
are
Or
be
we,
good.
Mario and Wario could do that.
are we ever going to get NES Remix 1 and 2? Those games were fantastic.
You know, I'm curious what the sales were
Yeah.
on the, I have it over here, the Nintendo World Championship. Was that in Nintendo's financial report?
I didn't see it.
I don't think
I don't
it
even
was,
know.
which means it didn't hit 1 million,
Yeah.
which sucks. For that install base to not hit 1 million.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like it came with some really nice
Yeah.
collectibles in there for a good deal. That was discounted at GameStop and Best Buy. The deluxe edition that was $60. Like I picked up a couple of extra for $20 and $30, brand new.
When was this?
A few months ago, at least a few months ago, and it's to me that is a absolute steal, which just tells me right that they're not selling through their allotment, which means it did not sell good. Which means something like what you just said. The odds are not great, which sucks because I love it. Right? You know, I'm an '80s kid, so clearly I would love to have that.
Yeah, I was always hoping we'd see SNES Remix 2, and they'd keep advancing it. I do feel like the World Championship is a little bit more niche than the NES Remix 1 and 2, just because the remix games are super wacky. They've got mixing worlds and characters and like these weird little game-breaking little missions and challenges. The World Championship, I agree with you. I feel like there should have been a big market for that. The
thing about World Championship is I would talk to people like, are you getting the game? And then the moment I would tell them they don't get the full NES games, they're like, oh, I'm not getting that. I thought it was like you get all these games and these challenges. You know what I mean?
And a lot of people did think that.
Yeah. So once I think a lot of people learn that, they're like, oh, I'll just play it on, I'll play the full game on Nintendo Online.
And I think with people with like the speed run type challenges and stuff like that, it is geared a little bit more towards a niche audience.
Yeah, it's a cool collectible. It's a novelty.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it is.
Yeah, it's really cool. And to be honest, I'd like to see them do Super Nintendo.
I think it'd be cool for Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy would be awesome.
Virtual Boy.
Really, I think they're gonna do something with Virtual Boy. I have like a strong feeling that we see that show up some way somehow. Yeah, it'd be cool to do a little product like that. But
would they have the games be in red and black, or would they do it grayscale?
I think it'd be red and black. I mean, there's some cool Virtual Boy games, even in red and black, but it's a hard sell. It's like,
I think what would be cool for that is to drop it in the NSO, have the default be red and black, but then offer one of those filters that lets you play the games in color, which you couldn't do on the original hardware.
Yeah, that
you could play the way it was meant to be, kind of like how you could play games, on some devices with like the modern looks, or you could add like the CRT filter and scan lines and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, since he ruined before, Favlam gets to go last. How's it going, buddy? Nintendo Direct predictions. Get that list out. What are we doing?
Throw everything out you just heard. We're doing it my way. We're doing it my style. So
he has just one prediction.
Opening 2-4. Opening. We're getting it fresh out the gate. A hard cut, or was it cold open? Splatoon 4. No way we're not getting it. Easiest. Like that's a T-ball toss up. Next, we get a shit ton of indie games. That is just, we get all the farming sims, we get the anime games, but then we also get the good ones like Stash was mentioning, like Like we get the release date of Hades finally. We get a bunch of other indie
Dude, you
games.
just offended so many
Oh,
people in the audience. We get
you
the
know what else we
farming
get?
games and the anime, and then we get some good ones.
We
Okay,
get,
well, I didn't say they were bad. I just said they were. I just categorized them. I just
Hey,
categorized them as.
we get
I'm just
Yuka
calling it as I
Replay,
hear it.
Yuka Replay, and Ruffy and the Riverside as well. But
Oh, yeah,
Yuka
'cause that was
Replay, I bet
announced.
we hear both.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And I know there's some. What was it? Is it Story of Seasons? I played it at PAX. What was it? PAX at the front right? Is it Story of Seasons?
It was some
yes,
Story
I
of
think
Seasons game.
we get. Yeah, we have that on Switch too. I think I could see that happening as well. Yeah, and then I think we. I mean, we start to just get into the good stuff. We get a date for Air Ride. My prediction: September for Air Ride, and then actually,
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Because
You
it
sure
can
about
either
that?
be like
Interest-
really late in
interesting.
December.
That's very
Well, hang on, because
interesting.
I was forgot I put a different game on my. I put a different set of things on my later in my list. I was like, I have to adjudicate it live. It's gonna be this year, obviously, but I think it's gonna be. I want to say November, but I don't think that's right either because it's like there's so many big things they want to sell in November, and it's like maybe December. I'm gonna say December. We'll give it that. Anyways, we get the date for Hyrule Warriors. I'm not gonna guess dates anymore because I'm probably gonna be totally off with that. Finally, get a date for Prime 4, but I think we get another new IP finally. And then our one more thing is going to be before I get to the one more thing, let me I forgot I wrote this. We get themes finally. They bring themes from like 3DS.
Oh God,
kind of stuff,
careful,
something along those
Favlam.
lines. Why?
Careful, because you're gonna piss off Nintendo Prime. I'm just already, yeah.
Oh, why?
We
Why?
got
Is
into it pretty
is
hard
is
about
he an
themes.
anti-themer?
He hates themes, like hates them with a passion.
Whoa.
He's
That's
extremely passionate
crazy.
about how
Crazy.
much he hates themes.
You're crazy.
Yeah, he screamed at
Listen.
me live.
Wow.
Yeah,
Don't
I thought
screw
it
at
was
me live.
interesting.
He's leaving. He's like, I'm taking off. We get themes or something to customize your menu a little bit more than what we did on Switch 2. Or Switch 1, excuse me. I think we get a shit ton as our one more thing, a shit ton of like Mario things. Like I think we get a Switch 2 version of the 3D All-Stars. Maybe it has more games, maybe it doesn't, maybe it's just support. I think we get sports mix. Because I think I liked the idea of like I was like, yeah, strikers would be good, but I feel like that's still also kind of recent. But I don't know. I think they need something fresh or newer with like the Mario sports kind of genre. So I think they're gonna bring something that is either older than the strikers, or they're gonna bring out like the sports mix again, which is a IP we haven't gotten since like the Wii era,
Mario
which would be
Baseball.
that's a really deep pull. I think it's just gonna be the era of like not the Mario RPGs, but the Mario like side games. Like I think we might get other sports games alongside that. I think we're gonna see a lot of ports from Switch to maybe like Stash was saying, we're gonna get like a Wonder port. Maybe and it might even be a Switch 2. I could see it being a Switch 2 edition, and we get like a whole nother world DLC type vibe. Yeah, and I think that'll be our. If that's not our one more thing, I think we get like a Fire Emblem as our one more thing because they just love Fire Emblem. I just don't think we get 3D Mario this year. I genuinely don't think we get 3D Mario this year or anytime. I don't think we get it in 2026. I'll be real.
Really? Yeah, well, what do you know?
Okay, well, Donkey Kong Bonanza looks basically like Mario Odyssey. I just feel like the team is putting all of their resources into Bonanza, and I don't know. That's just me.
Here's the thing. I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's fun to challenge.
Of course, yes, please.
I thought it was a little bit bizarre that Mario Kart World is the launch game, but we're also getting Kirby Air Riders this year. So like I don't know. It's Nintendo, man. This is the company that sells cardboard to people. So
that's true.
It's essentially like having a swimming pool in a swimming pool.
True. Infinity pools are cool though. Like, come on. Yeah, but I think just to give a TLDR, I think that's really it. I say that's it. I think half of the
That's
direct is
pretty
going to
solid.
just be reaffirming things we already know, and then I think the other half is going to be like new. We're gonna that big opening, that really big thing in the middle, and that really big ending with like, hey, our Mario's 40th anniversary is coming up. This is what we're doing, and I could even see them doing like a segment of like, here's the trailer for the new Mario movie, like, or something. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've got a question for you, Favlam. You're a big Splatoon fan, right? Or is that just a prediction?
it's just a
I've heard you
prediction. I
mention-
haven't played.
Okay.
Splatoon. I played it
Okay,
like a
never
little
mind.
bit on the Wii U, but yeah. But we'll go
Got
ahead.
it.
No, what were we gonna ask?
Well, I was going to ask because I've been of the mindset, like, I do think Splatoon is coming soon, but I've been of the mindset that they've got to shake things up a bit with Splatoon 4. I think now that they've had 3 games out, I feel like they've been a little bit too similar to each other, and that if they do more of the same again with just maybe like an extra mode here, some new weapons there, it's not quite going to cut it. But I'm curious what you think
Was
about
that roguelike mode that they put in 3? Was that a single player experience? I
Yes.
think it was.
And it was actually
right?
good. And
I think
I'm not
I think you
I'm not
see
a big
the
roguelike
future,
person, so
I think you see the future of Splatoon 4 being a cooperative, like kind of how just maybe this is because I'm recently Elden Ring Night Ring pilled. I think it's a cooperative roguelike type, like that same setup, but it's but it combined like all the elements of like Salmon Run, where you're all together cooperatively working your way through these floors doing a run.
I like that.
I think that would be a really fresh take on it, and then you can still have the base competitive multiplayer. But that's the thing. Like, I know people are going to say like Splatoon it's washed, or it's like it's tired. It's a tired formula, but it's Nintendo's competitive shooter now at this point, and as competitive shooters as Nintendo can get, right?
Right.
And usually those are very iterative kind of games, and people look for the stability and like familiarity with just a little bit extra with it to keep the game fresh, but it still needs to be familiar enough for the people who have, because the whole point of it is there's a high skill ceiling, right? And so it has to be familiar enough for those people who have that have sunk in that time to become such experts in that game to be able to keep going at it. I mean, that's to say that goes true for Valorant, Call of Duty, whatever, any competitive shooting game. But yeah, what we're gonna say, Meech?
Here's the thing with the Splatoon 4. Considering the Nintendo Switch 2 has so much more power than the original Switch, you think they could go for something like a Battle Royale mode, a little bit similar to Fortnite for Splatoon? I think that's like the next logical direction to go for at least a mode. That'd be awesome.
I mean, I could see maybe not at the scale of Fortnite, but I could see them doing something along those lines as a mode. I know me personally, what I would really like to see, and I will say, I think what you were saying, Favlam, made a lot of sense about them kind of keeping it familiar. But I do think Nintendo has seen a lot of great success with kind of reinventing their series. We see what they've done with Zelda. We see what they've done with Fire Emblem. We've seen what they're doing with Mario Kart World and the new Donkey Kong game coming out.
As well.
Me personally, yes, Wonder. What I would really like to see is keep Splatoon at its core, what it is: great Salmon Run, great multiplayer competitive modes. Build up that single player mode, make it more than just feeling like kind of like this is how you play Splatoon. Because I mean, the levels are fun and the boss fights are even more fun, but really the single player acts as a way to teach you how to play. I'd love to see them go a little bit bigger and better with that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that could be cool. I think like that being a linchpin for the game though, and like that being its selling point is just not in the cards. But I mean, I don't know. To answer Meech's question of it being a battle royale, I really don't know how you would implement that, because like the game isn't only like Splatoon has never just been about like shooting other people. It's also been about like a coverage area type game, which I'm sure there's maybe a way you can implement that I'm just not creative enough to think of in the past.
I mean, Nintendo has a way of like creating new mechanics that you would never think of before.
I mean,
like
they could do.
They have
It would
big
intrigue me.
OG.
It would intrigue me, to say the least. It would intrigue me. I think you could maybe pull it off, but I can't answer
Put 10
definitively.
teams in a massive map.
That would be crazy.
Everyone spraying everywhere. You know,
Oh wait,
the
yeah,
allotted
like
time.
it's still the same. Like
it's
just
still
cover the area, but it's
Platoon,
just
massive.
But
yeah.
it's
That
like
would be
that
it's
would be
like
That's a good idea.
yeah,
Hang
it's like
on.
50 people in an arena.
That
a
would be
huge arena.
sick, dude.
Doug,
Yeah.
if you're in chat, take notes right now, Mr.
Also,
Bowser.
speaking of Fortnite, you guys, Fortnite on Switch 2 is going to go hard. Mouse
Yeah.
controls, good graphics,
Oh,
frame rate, gyro,
Yeah.
portable.
I played the hell out of Fortnite on my Switch. I'm gonna play it on my. I'm excited for it.
It's
I'm too
unintentionally
old
going
to
to
play
be like
Fortnite. My
a
reflexes
huge
are
selling
not
point
there.
for Fortnite fans. Like this might be the ultimate way to play the game.
Yeah. Well, I made a tweet. I was just saying, like, I think the Switch 2 is going to become the console for first person shooters, like, moving forward. I don't think people realize it yet. And of course, everyone's like,
Especially getting
it's
Call
the
of
baby
Duty.
game.
Yeah.
It's the baby game console. They're not gonna meh. But I think what's actually gonna happen is people are going to see like how well these mouse controls are,
Yeah.
you know,
You have the best
working
of both
and it's
worlds.
gonna go
at all-
crazy.
yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah. Prime, you're pogging out of your mind right now. What's going
What's
on?
going on?
Someone just gifted 20 members.
Whoa!
Shout
out
to that person.
20.
Crazy.
Big 20 in the chat. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it
We
wasn't
love
you.
to see it.
No, it's about to be
Come
me. Because I said if someone did it, I'll do it again.
on.
I'll do it again.